Welcome to the channel. This is Subscribe here to talk a spoiler talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. I am joined by my lovely sister Shekinah. As we're going to get started. So first warning, all this is spoiler talk. By this point, the movie been out for like a week now,
Yeah.
and I feel so sorry for people who either haven't seen it, who want to see it, because the spoilers on this has just been crazy. I haven't seen this level of failed containment since Endgame. Like that was like the last movie that said, "Don't ruin the ending, don't ruin that ending," and this one is almost just as bad because these people are not trying to spoil it or spoil it. Because at this point, you can't help but to know at least three spoilers.
Yeah, you can't.
All right, so we'll jump into that's the last warning. My apologies. So if you have not seen the movie and don't want to hear any kind of spoilers, click off the video right now because I don't know how else to talk about this without talking about all the juiciness, which is just great. Because as of now, I have not said a thing about this on social media because I'm still trying to be respectful.
Thanks for the bucket hat. Yeah.
Apologies. My sister's never Christmas with her family. I'm being a jerk because I haven't went over to see my family yet. I'll be doing that after this interview. It is Christmas.
No Way Home was awesome. I was one of the first people to see it.
That's right, bro. Her brother, my brother, Nate, in the background. All right. So we'll get started. First off, going into this movie, my worry was it was too overhyped. That there's no way it can live up, and our expectations was too high. I did a reaction to the trailer, the second trailer a few weeks ago, and I just thought, okay, it's gonna be good, but it's not gonna be that good.
Yeah,
we're getting our hopes way too high. Nothing, all these cameos or guest appearances that we want to happen haven't been confirmed. We're getting our hope. We're setting ourselves up for failure. I would say this is the only time when high expectations were not let down.
No, this is yeah. I agree.
I can't think of whenever I went in and said, "Okay, expectations were too high." He said, "No, you should have raised them a little bit more."
I will be honest. I agree with that completely. The movie was definitely. I mean, I expected it to be good. It's a Spider-Man movie. The expectations for Spider-Man is you're going to get a good movie. I did not expect to be basically blown out of the water, and that's what they did. They just blew me away on that one. It was just well above my expectations by a long shot.
Okay, so the film picks up directly after the second. What was it? It was Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Far from coming. No, it was Homecoming. Then far from home, and this was his No Way Home. So this one picks off directly after Spider-Man's identity is revealed by our favorite Spider-Man hater, J. Jonah Jameson. I swore the dude was like a YouTuber who was like he's a bane in Spider-Man's existence in every medium, but this one is like. This was like a stab a knife in a twist. Actually, like you make your debut, which is totally fine because that is J. Jonah Jameson. Like he would have done it in any universe. You make your debut exposing Spider-Man as a high school kid and enjoyed it. And so the film has like several like tones. So the beginning of it is kind of scary, kind of dark. They try to throw a little humor in there with his Aunt May and Happy. But it's like I started feeling so sorry for you, kid, and then you're still try to go to high school with it after that, or at least finish that out. Because I think the first part is like typical, like he's still trying to live a semi-normal life.
Yeah,
which is like good luck with that.
You ain't doing that.
Oh, you know what? This not exactly, but this kind of remind me a little bit of the Civil War comic when in that comic Spider-Man revealed his identity.
Yeah.
And now for non-comic book fans, I won't go into the details, but it's just one part that that you will know is that some superheroes have an alter ego, have a secret identity, and others do not.
Right.
You know, this Tony Stark does not.
Nope.
You know, I remember, in fact, most of them like do not have any kind of that in the MCU, I should say. If I try to think about it, most of them are public.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I think about it, but the ones who have the hardest time with this kind of thing are the ones who are trying to keep identity secret. You know, they ain't got the money like that. They ain't got Tony Stark money, or they can't just go to another planet like Thor do.
Or they have children and they have, parents and grandparents and grandchildren and loved ones, girlfriends, boyfriends. The concern of revealing that kind of stuff is basically not about them. It ends up being about their family.
Yeah, to the people who like trying to conceal it, and it's all. I'm not trying to get into like, but it almost seems almost class bit. You know, like Tony Stark could afford to say, "My name is I'm Iron Man."
Right.
Which one with me? The only time he got in trouble with that when he doxed himself and said, "Here's my address, Mandarin." But other than that, it's like he can afford being public. I got security. I'm rich, and basically, and other people who are similar to that, you know, the government, like even Steve Rogers. Actually, I don't think that's public knowledge. Was that public knowledge?
Yes, that is public knowledge.
And so, like even like when he was Captain America, because he had like a strip apartment.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm trying to think, like, so did people just know, hey, that's Captain America in room AB? What? But his is the only one that's closer to down to earth, I suppose. But when he does what he does is like actual, except up until Civil War, sanctioned by government.
Mm-hmm.
So not like like the press come to him and say, hey, man, that's what we did, man. So, but Peter Parker doesn't have that same privilege, you know.
No, he doesn't have the background. He basically does not have the protection that is afforded to a lot of the heroes. He's young, he's still new, he's still fresh to the scene. So this, by revealing his secret, it's put so many people in danger, and that's where the issue is. He doesn't have the ability to protect everyone like Tony Stark or Steve Rogers, or he's not dangerous like Natasha Romanoff. He's still a kid.
Yeah, and when you look at him, he doesn't look very threatening. Like, that's Spider-Man, I'll get him now.
Okay,
exactly.
I take that down.
Exactly, and you're obviously vulnerable. So that's where like the film kind of starts, and like, boy, I feel like bad for you. And I admit, I'm not saying I was a Tom Holland Spider-Man's hater, you know, but you already know. I know she's like, it's her favorite Spider-Man, or at least is a lot of people. It's not, or it's,
he's not my favorite.
Betrayal of Spider-Man. Well, we'll get into that because obviously now you can have to pick now. But my critique is not necessarily like Tom Holland Spider-Man. It's just I've said that he never really had to stand on his own, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I love Tom Holland. Do not get me wrong. I love him.
Not the actor, we're not talking about.
I've loved him as Spider-Man, but I was a huge fangirl of oh my goodness, Tobey Maguire. So Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man, like for life. That's just how I felt.
We're old enough to kind of I'm as I went to the theater, and you went to the theater, I don't wonder how many people are in this theater that weren't even born.
Yeah, when Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man. Yeah.
Like, old dude. But and to speedball this, I'm just saying Tom Holland Spider-Man debuted in Civil War.
Yes.
Which is arguably one of the best Marvel films that they made, like in my opinion. You know, like it was two heroes shy of an Avengers film. So it's like it got critically acclaimed on that. I mean, Black Panther debuted on Civil War. You know, so it's like it wasn't hard to like, but when you have, it's like going to a concert and whoever you're going to see Kanye West, whatever, and you're the opening act of that, and the thousands of fans are there to see Kanye, but because you're the open act, you get all you do get a lot of attention. So it's like, man, all those thousand fans, like I performed for thousands. Great for you, but they came for the other people.
Yeah.
They came for Kanye.
They came for Kanye.
So
They
you
just got
awesome.
somebody else.
No, I ain't hating, but I'm saying like in Toby's movies, and I know people hating on Andrew Garfield. I never hating on him. If I analyze my feelings about Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, it was more bitter just because they didn't do a Spider-Man 4 with Toby. And I just wasn't ready. And my energy going into his Spider-Man movies was just low, just because, like, man, I gotta get used to another one. And that kind of care. And then when I did, by the time I did like him by the end of the second film. But then when Tom Holland come, I almost had the same feeling, like, come on, man. This is like 3 reboots in less than 10 years.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't hate Andrew Garfield. Like, I've watched his stuff, and he's okay. He's a great Spider-Man. I think the issue that I had was that he's a great Spider-Man, but he wasn't a great Peter Parker. And then you have Toby, who's this great Peter Parker, but the script for Spider-Man was crud. So then you get Tobey Maguire and just like, okay, well, it seems like you have people who love Spider-Man that actually know what they're talking about finally. And so you get this great Peter Parker who's adorable and geeky and nerdy, and he's just cute. But then he's a great Spider-Man on top of that. And you're just like, okay, Tobey actually brought together the two characters that you really wanted to see. And that's how I felt about them, like in all seriousness. Yeah, but Tobey Maguire is my favorite. Just hands down. I don't care. Till the day I die, I'm a Tobey girl.
You said that on camera. It's all well rounded. There was things to love about each of them. So my critique was never like, again, I never hated this version of Spider-Man, but part of me thought, okay, now you got Iron Man in your movie, which is helping you. Like basically in his movies, he has a lot of supporting cast, and in his movies, he has a lot of backup, which I thought none of the other Spider-Mans had this kind of hand up. And you're getting however much that nanotech spider suit cost, which is off the bat. Now, well, I think he got the original Spider-Man suit. I don't think it was nanotech, but
no, he had his original suit, and then like when we first meet him, Tony's already giving him the suit.
Right, exactly. Like he never like he was Spider-Man before technically Civil War. It just was happening off camera.
Right.
Like he was just doing some stuff, and it did originally. Okay, you were like the other Spider-Man. You sold your stuff, and it looked trash, and you got to knock off target. But early on, off the bat, you already befriend Tony Stark, which I'm not saying is not comic book adjacent. Like that is what happened. It just happens later in life in the comic.
Yeah.
Versus if you like Tony Stark befriends you in high school and give you all these resources off the bat, it puts you ahead of a lot of Spider-Man. So it's almost like when I'm comparing them, I've got to take in their struggles that you kind of skipped over.
Yeah.
That true. Kind of thing. So it's not like you're not good. It's just at that point, they went through a lot worse stuff than you emotionally. Mm-hmm. By that point, which this film does address and made up for. I'm not saying that's what I wanted to happen, but at the same point, the other Spider-Mans went through a lot more than you did and had to get by with a lot less. So like part of me going, it's almost like looking at the rich kid. I mean, he wasn't rich, but at the same point,
he had everything handed to him instead of.
I wouldn't say he didn't earn anything. When they talk about his morality, yes, integrity, like I respect it and all that, and even the stuff that I'm like, man, you could be more mature. It's more legit because, hey, man, I'm a kid.
Yeah, and that's exactly it.
The stuff that I will critique about the character is realistic because I am his age. Like he actually is high school, and it is completely normal and valid to just want a high school life. Just want that life, and so like I respect it, and that was my critique of it. But starting off in this film, I said, okay, you earned Spider-Man. You got doxxed. No, you're like, your name has been plastered all over the place. I don't know how you do that. I mean, what's his name? J. Jonah ain't that big, but he done spread and went
Well,
viral.
yeah, that pushed him. Like Jay Jonah was nothing. If you watch like
I saw that clip. I thought
yeah,
he was a YouTuber. I thought like, are you in your basement?
yeah, he was in his basement, and then suddenly he reveals who Spider-Man is, and he's like the biggest name out there. So it was like one of those things of like him revealing that made him who he was because Jay Jonah was nobody. He was just somebody that kept crying about Spider-Man, and people were tired of hearing him already.
Someone like, I'm curious about why though. Like in some media they get into it like in one of them he outshined his son or something who you know again son was an astronaut went into space and then Spider-Man got the front page in some form. I forget like it's in comic books I think they went into why J. Joseph just hates Spider-Man that much, but like here it's like you just being ex petty
Yeah.
for no reason, but it's good like your troll. And I like it. It's always like at this point, I'm not even mad at him because for one, they got the same actor to play him in all three.
Number 4.
I thought that was great.
Spider-Man number 4.
Yeah.
My favorite hater.
Yeah, that was great. I love that they got the same guy for J. Jonah Jameson. I hate J. Jonah Jameson as a character, but I love him. He's one of those characters that's like, it doesn't matter how good you do. You could be, Spider-Man could be perfect. Spider-Man could have done nothing wrong, caused no damage. And J. Jonah Jameson will find a way to hate him.
You know what?
And it makes it great.
He's actually, I mean, not in this medium, but if you know, like, granted, their choice of casting Flash Thompson, like the bully hates Peter Parker, loves Spider-Man. In other mediums, I know in the first J. Joe Jameson, in the first Spider-Man, Tobey Spider-Man, and maybe in the other Spider-Man, I can't be sure. J. Jonah Jameson, of course, vilifies Spider-Man, and I'll talk trash to Peter Parker's face, but he's ready to die for him in the first one.
Yeah.
Like, who took those pictures? I don't know nothing. Like he said, like you have to kill me. Like basically. So that's just kind of weird. Like I care about Peter Parker. I'll die for Peter Parker. Oh, Spider-Man is trash.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he doesn't know that the two are one the same, but
Right.
does say like I'm not a trash human being per se. He's just like I have a blind spot, or maybe I'm thinking it's just he doesn't like a secret identity, period. And
right.
if I were to give him the benefit of the doubt, I'm guessing it's more of a I don't want you doing all this stuff and you be not held accountable because we don't know who you are. That kind of thing. Like everybody else, if Tony Stark did something, I'm coming to Tony Stark's face and say, "Why'd you do it?" Versus you, I don't know who you are. So it's like, well, I'm afraid name was Spider-Man. Deuces. but I felt sorry for him, and then the movie kind of flows into we're not gonna get into the minutia, but basically the film kind of says, okay, normal life is not gonna happen for Spider-Man.
No.
Or now that he's been doxxed. He goes to Doctor Strange, which was like, oh no, I totally skipped over the huge thing that made me just because I had two friends with me and guy said they did it, and that is our favorite lawyer guest star made his appearance. I didn't even think of that being a possibility. Everything was saying like there was rumors. Now I ain't hearing this movie, but it's one of them where I ain't getting my hopes up. They ain't gonna do it.
I'll be honest, I wasn't trying to get my hopes up too much because I felt like
for people who don't know, we're talking about Daredevil. I'm sorry, I said my favorite lawyer. Like Daredevil is in the film. Spoiler, but I already told you in the first 20 minutes ago. But
yeah, I was just like, okay, so everyone's telling me that they're gonna have all these people in it. You know what? I'm not listening to none of y'all because no one's gonna be in it. This is just gonna be Tom Holland, and I'd hate for my hopes to get all up and excited, and then I'm disappointed when I don't see my man.
You see? and everybody agreed. And Grant, I mean, you could critique some of the Netflix's Marvel series, but
Yes.
casting wise, I don't think nobody disagreed that. I'm sorry, I can't say his full name right now. The actor who plays Daredevil, like casting, Daredevil, the franchise. I think they did excellent casting. Uh, that was going to be Daredevil for me.
Yeah.
And I don't think they could have really done any better. And there was debate because I know they didn't want to put make the Marvel TV shows canon. Period.
Yes.
For Disney Plus, and it was too hard. I'm not saying they haven't confirmed everything is canon, but him, you could have said that okay, Matt Murdock is in the universe doesn't mean Daredevil is. Him catching
Right.
the rock
Confirmed it.
confirmed. No, that's Daredevil.
Yep.
So like not just because not just somebody who has Matt Murdock's name, because they could have done that approach that like had nothing to do with it. It's just Matt Murdock. He ain't Daredevil, but him catching rock was enough to say I'm in.
Yep. Then that's where you realize, like, oh my goodness, they've just basically stated that the Netflix shows are definite Marvel canon, and it actually makes a lot of sense if you really think about it, because Defenders is a secondary Avengers team. Basically, they are there for street level fights. So I'm just hoping that now we'll get some more TV shows, maybe on Disney Plus, to where we can get more Misty Knight. I'm sorry, I think she's cool. Misty Knight, some more Danny Rand, some more Colleen. Maybe we can get some actors who actually want to do the role, because apparently Danny's actor did not want to do it. So maybe we'll get some better actors. I like the chick that plays Misty, so I'm happy with her.
I mean, you might not get Colleen back though.
Oh well,
I did not recognize her. She was in Shang-Chi.
oh, so yeah, we're probably not going to get Colleen back.
I just read article and I was reading article. I was like, oh, that was her. And
I mean,
by taking that role, she said she knew that would effectively kill off Colleen, and she didn't want to do it. But she said if they were going to do something with Colleen, then she would know about it. So they said when they were filming Defenders, she said because it was like that. Cox, I know that's his last name by Tim who plays Daredevil. He said he already had plans of going to MCU back then.
right.
So like he knew back then, like I'm going to MCU, and they thought if they had plans for her,
They would have told her.
right?
I like her. Do not get me wrong. I like her a lot. I think she's got some potential to be a great character in the future. As far as Colleen Wing is concerned, my issue with her was that she did not have red hair. Colleen is actually a white woman with red hair, so it was really weird seeing her as an Asian woman. But I mean, like they do that kind of stuff all the time, so it's not one of those things where I'm like, it has to be exactly like this. But it was one of those things where I guess I got to kind of get used to it. So if they don't bring her back as Colleen, it's okay, because they can actually bring the canon, bring a person in to play the canon Colleen, and it won't be as one of those things where it's weird. Because I felt like, honestly, the Danny and Colleen love story was really awkward. It was really, really awkward, and it was not well written. So
I hang on stuff long, so it's like I can live with it. I just think I'm always a proponent of you could just do better next time. You could do better, like second season better than the first season. But I'm trying not to get off on Iron Fist.
yes, let's not.
So like okay, but I'm sorry. Back to Spider-Man: No Way Home. We get Daredevil. Even though it was a short cameo, it was enough.
It was
that
enough.
long, maybe it's okay. It's a good movie already.
We started cheering in the theater. It was one of those moments of like you couldn't hear anything they said. So I missed like a minute of whatever was said.
I heard my friend that, but it was confirmed. We was glad. Then we go see Doctor Strange. Then learn some funny like Wong is the new what was
Sorcerer Supreme.
Supreme, which maybe that explains that why he was all over in Shang-Chi's.
he shouldn't have been in Shang-Chi, but it makes sense for him to like
But like I
drag
said, he was
Shang-Chi in.
so free that maybe he has extra duties. Like, okay, maybe that's why. Like,
Yeah,
no,
but
you're not.
we
I'm
all
not.
know he wasn't supposed to be fighting, no.
It's like what? So like, okay. Well, I thought for like, I thought for like, well, I don't get my job back, even though that I set this all up. You know, but anyway, he meets up with Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange agrees to make this spell that basically that would have made everybody forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and of course I guess Spider-Man didn't realize that how good the spell would be because during spells like wait a minute, because even this is kind of weird. Even Stephen Strange said he won't even remember.
Yeah.
I thought you can't have no kind of immunity. Like you're the one who casted it, so you can make a spell that you ourselves aren't immune to. But whatever. But that let him know, like, wait a minute. So that means he just really wanted 4 people, I guess, to know: MJ, Ned, his Aunt May, and Happy. Especially his 2 friends, Aunt May, Ned. You know, like at least 3 of them. He had kept getting pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then the spell blew up. And now, if I can understand what happened, it was everybody who knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man in all other the universes.
Yep.
Which brought into the 2 universes that we were familiar with the Andrew Garfield and the Tobey Maguire universes, as well as their own. Bringing in basically the Sinister Six. That's what they did. Basically, what happened. The Sinister Six is which were supposed to be the villain in the 3rd Andrew Garfield, because I think at the end, as I remember, the end of the 2nd Andrew Garfield movie was like after a cutscene, there was like a hint of Sinister Six being the next villain if they would have went ahead and done the 3rd movie.
Right.
I thought it was ironic. So we get Doc Ock, and then there was like a hint of Green Goblin. I did not know Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, was going to be such a main attraction. Like he was one of the. I don't know which one was more hyped, him or Doc Ock.
They hyped Doc Ock. They did, I mean, like you knew he was coming, but they did not hype him. And I'm actually kind of glad they did not hype him. Willem Dafoe deserves an award because when I say that man broke me in his play of Green Goblin, oh my goodness. I forgot how great he was.
So he did his own stunts.
Yeah.
That was tradition, like 60-something-year-old man. And so he is like, I would say, like, despite there being all these villains, and some of you want to say are they villains or not, I have a soft spot for Sandman. And once Doc Ock got, I guess, cured or had that little implant repaired, he's effectively good again.
Yeah.
But I'll say something against Shekinah.
I said yeah.
Okay, sorry. For a while I thought that I could hear you. Okay. But he basically is the bigger antagonist. One, because he was, I can't say he's deceptive, because Norman Osborn really is lost his mind. So, like, I'm not saying, like, so when he say, like, I'm Norman Osborn, I just want to go home, maybe feel sympathy for him, but at the same point, I'm like, this is gonna turn. This is not gonna be good.
I was thinking the whole time. I was like, and then for a second, you almost like think he's not gonna turn, because you're just like, well, maybe I'm just being negative, because he seems like he's so sincere, because he is.
He is sincere.
Norman Osborn is sincere, and you're thinking, oh, he won't turn. I was worried for nothing.
I said, nah. I said, I knew this because I'm gonna say this, and no offense, I do appreciate most of this trouble, or most of this is coming down to Spider-Man's morality of him trying to save everybody, which I can respect. So my personal feeling is I would have been hit that button. The button basically would have took all of them out and instant back to their own universe, and fate would have been. I understand. Hey, that's death. In your mind, you're killing them. I knew them films. They did them themselves. Like, so I'm like, and
But he didn't know. Like, he did not know what he was risking in his mind. Because remember, he's never met these characters. These characters do not exist in his world. So in his mind, if you're gonna just meet some random stranger and they're like, well, if I get sent back here, I'm gonna die. Are you really gonna risk killing them? Even if they've done a few things, you're just like, well, maybe there's a chance. If there's a chance to save them.
First time you meet Doc Ock, he's throwing cars off just to get at you, and he's coming saying like, "Where's that, Peter? Where my machine at, Peter?" Like, dude, I don't know you. Oh, you don't know me, huh? Just throw us all off. First time you meet me in the smoke. First time like, hey, how you doing? And all you got is beef. You just see the Spider-Man outfit. And it's like, you gonna bang? Like, blah blah. Like, you know what? Oh yeah. You know, like the only time person like who he had the first meet, you know, like first good convo was Sandman. That's because that he had I do like that because my critique of original was like, okay, some of these people were redeemed before they got pulled into this universe, and all of them weren't killed because Sandman never died. You know, like Sandman, like at the end of Spider-Man 3, he actually got away.
Yeah, he did.
Float away. So like everybody didn't die. He really had, for writing wise, they kind of had a little bit of quarter because all of them don't have a legit reason to rebel. Sandman has the least reason to go against Spider-Man. Not only did you not die in your universe, everything you do is basically to make your daughter's life better.
Yeah.
So and him try to get back to his daughter. So like that part, I understand the flow and the chaos. Hey, I'm just running. But at the same point, you have no reason really to go against Spider-Man because you really want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And your situation were bad. So some of that is like doesn't all work because each of them have their own issue going to. Even the lizard, I'm trying to remember. The lizard did die?
Yeah, he died.
But I'm trying to remember because some of them had returned to normal mind state before they actually died. Like,
yeah, he did. He had a moment where he returned and then he died.
right. So like, but like some of them were like kind of good terms. Like Doc Ock had good terms. At first, I was a little not upset, but a little bit irked because I thought, well, he kind of redeemed himself at the end of Spider-Man 2, which was one of my favorite Spider-Man film. The only reason I'm not saying this one because when something new comes out, it automatically becomes the new hotness.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, and so, but Spider-Man 2 is at least number 2. Even if this No Way Home tops that, Spider-Man 2 was one of my best, and part of that was that little redemption arc at the end, to where he basically sacrificed himself. Great. He created the situation in the first place.
Yes.
But considering that, because I can't remember detail, he still was battling the AI or whatever, the tentacles, whatever, and still managed to kind of pull like heroicness out of it. So I thought, okay, why is he a villain again? But then again, okay, he's almost as crazy as Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Because he has basically has all his voices in his head.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, but again, like at some point, especially when y'all start turning up and like in the condo, that are blowing up stuff, like I'm here. I said, girl, hit the button. hit the button. Hit the button right now. You know, I'm sorry. I said like, no, y'all been too much. And my reputation is already trashed right now. And I'm bringing the whole dinosaur supervillain up here. Like, you can get some of y'all like got ex-convict issues. I'm just saying, man. He is what he is. But so that like so we were talking about Willem Dafoe did an excellent job. Almost a little irked a little bit that even when his Spider-Man, Toby, came, you're still more focused on Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I would think that you have something more to say to your original Spider-Man And if I think about it, maybe that should be a little bit more that there was not much interaction between the Green Goblin and Toby's Spider-Man.
No, there really wasn't. I don't know if it was just because he was basically trying to stay in that universe, and in his mindset that if he stayed in that universe, um, Toby was gonna or Tom Holland was gonna be his Spider-Man. He wasn't gonna have to worry about Toby Maguire anymore.
I suppose so. But again, maybe they thought, okay, maybe that's splitting the focus. But just because there's a lot of history between you and that, like you knew Peter Parker before he became Spider-Man. He was your son's best friend, and so he died. So that's so he doesn't know that Harry, his son, is
No,
dead.
yeah, he doesn't know that Harry's dead.
But then I don't know, does Green Goblin care? Would care. But then again, if he saw Harry as like his second, who knows the because trying to understand Harry Osborn is one thing, or Norman Osborn is one thing, and trying to understand the Green Goblin is a whole another kind of crazy. And if you try, and don't think I would have made it work, it would be interesting, but I'm glad they didn't go the route. They could have technically brought in Harry Osborn from Andrew Garfield's universe, technically, because he does meet the criteria, does he?
He does, but the problem is the actor is kind of blacklisted right now. So
okay, because I'm not in on the who did what, like behind the scenes in their real life and all that. Like most of the time, I don't know what these actors and actors do when they be on social media or not, and stuff happens. But I said that would have been interesting, just because like you're my son from a different universe, but I like you because you actually became me in a way. But I'm not going to critique that too much because everybody agrees Willem Dafoe gets his flowers. He pulled out a good performance out of Tom Holland.
yeah,
you actually enhance Spider-Man's performance, like his character, like everything that I would critique him about. Like you didn't have a heart, you didn't have a rough. He did that himself. He, I guess we should talk about it. His tragedy, the death of Aunt May.
Aunt May.
Which I'm not saying I didn't want it to happen. It was more critique that I had mentally because he didn't have that death. I mean his Uncle Ben is dead in this universe, is it not?
But yeah, he is. He's dead, but you don't see it. You don't see the actual emotional toll of what Uncle Ben's death had on him. So when Aunt May dies, oh my goodness, like that moment of just like when I realized she was dead. Like I realized she was dying.
I had like false hope. As it got up, like, okay, she's fine.
No, I was like, no, she's gone.
Oh man.
And I as soon as it hit her, I was like, she's gone. I thought she was going to immediately die, but she actually had a slow death.
And I tell somebody like, oh, she's done. And it was the first time I realized, like, I told my friend when she said the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my friend, like, oh, this is actually the first time he's heard it.
And it's the comic book accurate line.
Exactly. Because he said something similar in Civil War, and I thought that was their way of saying, we're not going to do this again. Y'all already know the line. But she said it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, great power comes great responsibility. And I was like, oh, man, this is, and it dawned on me then, like, this is his moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like your horrible, like, moment that every Spider-Man has. It was like Uncle Ben, you really got to feel sorry for Andrew Garfield, because I'm trying to remember, did he see Uncle Ben die too?
I can't remember. It's been a while since I've watched his movies, a long time.
And I'm going to try to watch that later on, kind of refresh. But because I know it was a big deal for Toby. It felt like they did the same thing with Andrew Garfield. Like they didn't skip it over. I can't remember it.
I don't think they skipped over. I think they did show him dying,
but
if I remember correctly.
Right. And it was like, because Uncle Ben's dead in every universe, so I don't care.
He gone. Exactly. Uncle Ben don't survive.
But Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, definitely get kind of worse personal tragedy because with the death of Gwen Stacy, that kind of put him over the top of I went through more.
Well, you heard, I mean, like you heard him say what he said. He said, I stopped pulling my punches.
Oh
So
yeah,
how many people did he murder people? Like he doesn't explain,
right.
but you know he went too far. So that's where you're just like, and I'm just gonna give it to Andrew because like when I say like when he caught MJ,
I was gonna say that for my favorite moment because that now granted, even though it has been a while since I've seen Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, that scene
hits you.
much I didn't like it, but it was comic book accurate. I didn't hate the movie. I just I just don't like seeing the person die.
Yeah.
That like it's not a critique of the story. It's just like that hurt me. Like ooh.
Yeah,
Right.
and the fact that he missed when you see the look on his face, and then when he catches MJ and that emotional like,
And
are you okay?
know what that is. And she asks like, "Are you okay?" And it's like we know what that was. We know that that was like redemption.
And can we just give Andrew like his props for being the gentle, loving Spider-Man, even though we know apparently he's gone too far and has stayed on that level of going too far. But he was still like, I love you guys. And like,
oh yeah, he was like, I just want y'all to know. Like group hug. I know he was that much taller than them.
and then the whole moment of when Toby was like, my back, it's just no back injury. And you're just like, oh my goodness, they're bringing back 2000 Spider-Man moments because all those times he hurt himself by falling on his back. And then Andrew's like, okay, let me do this. I got you, bruh. And I'm just like, okay, they're having their bro moment. I'm okay with this.
And I'm glad that I told my friend, like, there was a moment where they were all just talking. And I said, this seems like a deleted scene that I'm glad they kept it in.
Yeah.
It was like the dialogues, I thought like, I'm glad they kept it in. And I know somebody hated it. The more talking. I loved it, but I could tell that it's something that I know I would have liked. I would have watched the deleted scene, but that's what it felt like. I'm glad that they decided to keep it in.
Because it's important. It was character growth. It was character interaction. It was very much important to the story. I feel like it was because you can't have action scenes 100% of the time. You have to have these moments where it's downtime, where a character basically has to kind of come to grips with what's going on around them. And I feel like that was very, very important to the story as far as bringing to life that these characters are still human beings. And I think that's what that scene does is it makes you remember these are still people. These people have started being heroes when they were teenagers, all three of them. One is still a teenager, one's a grown man, or two are grown men, one's old enough to be a father, nearly having high school students, children. Like, you got to remember that these people, they're still people and they're going to still have lives. And that's where I think why I think that scene was very important, very crucial to the story, and I'm glad they kept it.
I am as well. Like, honestly, I thought even if these Spider-Man were going to be in the film, I said this in my trailer reaction, I thought it wasn't going to be substantial. I said we're not going to get an into the universe level. Of a Spider-Man. Which I'm saying, I guess we didn't still, but enough to where it was enough for you to kind of still say, okay, this is still Tom Holland's movie, but enough for the other Spider-Man to realize, like, okay, this is still special. This is not just a 1-2 scene cameo, waving goodbye. We're going to have dialogue. They had the conversation because I want you in this movie because I want you to talk to this Spider-Man, because I always thought that in 80s, we're old. I remember the 90s Spider-Man. I think it was like the last few episodes of that Spider-Man where she met Spider-Man from different universes. And so it's always okay. Different nerdom. We're both in the same nerdom. Is the Doctor Who best moments is when he meets himself.
Yes, I agree.
So in Spider-Man, because Spider-Man always has just a rough time of it, he's the most comfort he gets is the rare times he gets to interact with people himself, different versions of himself, who exactly know
what he's going through.
So like,
And I think it was important for character growth for Tom Holland's character, for Tom Holland Spider-Man, because his Aunt May just died. This was his last living relative. That was it. He has no one else. And now he's lost Tony, who was basically a third father figure, because he loses his parents as a child, loses his Uncle Ben pretty young, loses his Aunt May, loses Tony. He's lost. The only thing he had was Happy, basically, if you want to consider family wise.
Maybe a potential uncle.
Yeah, as a potential uncle. And so he has no one. And Happy does not understand what he's going through. Happy's not a superhero. Happy has not done this kind of work. That's not who Happy is. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have that. And as much as his friends love him, as much as MJ and I forgot his name. Wow. Ned loves Peter. They do not understand. So having basically Spider-Man from alternate universes who went through this, who saw this happen, who are just like, we know. And I think that was very, very important. And it was very much character growth. And I feel like we're going to definitely get a better Peter, because he's not going to do the same things and he almost did. He almost did. He had that moment where he could have just killed Green Goblin after beating the mess out of him.
May I say that this is the first, I think somebody says in their review.
I thought you was playing the game. No, video, Steven.
Thanks for the bucket hat. I always wanted one. That's crazy.
The straight up, this is the first time where it was a straight up fight that Tom Holland had. Like, it's not off. We're not jumping off walls. We're not like throwing something. We just hand to fit. This is what's that?
Hand.
I said all you need is these two.
This was a street fight.
And this is a straight up fight, and this is the most physical that we see Spider-Man, just blow for blow, stand your ground, let's just fight. And I kind of loved it. It was like it was gritty. Like it was like
it was.
We had fight, and it's the first time he got that real, that dark. So what he said, now I would say, man, this Spider-Man seemed kind of harmless, but when he said, he said like you still trying to save people. I forgot what Green Goblin said. He said, "No, I just want to kill you myself." And it was like, that's my boy.
That's where he had that moment of like
Joker vibes right there.
But and then when Toby stepped in front of him, I was like, when Toby first appeared, I'm like, Toby's gonna die. That was my moment. I'm just like, Toby's gonna die. There's just no way. I'm like, we're gonna lose at least two characters in this Spider-Man. I was so heartbroken already. I was just like, we're losing Toby. And when he gets stabbed, I'm just like, no, Toby's dead. And then he's like, I'm okay. This is the first time I've been stabbed. I was like, oh my heart. I wasn't ready.
But like him stopping him, and just that you're not. I do like they got his back. Like, you're not going down this road. And it's like, and it's that look at you, smile like you're gonna be okay. Like I know exactly where you're going through, and there doesn't need to be any words. Mm-hmm. Like I'm kind of like that. It wasn't even just also talk down. It was just you're looking at an older version of you, basically.
Right.
Like, and like there doesn't need to be no words. It's just I feel what you feel. You don't want to get this wrong. It's no. Like, and it's almost like he's strong enough to do that. People would kind of. I mean, of course, people say like, "Who's stronger?" Of course, Toby's stronger. Like physically, people like he's older. I assume that the older Spider-Man is just gonna be stronger than the Spider-Man. And like physically, okay, you stop that train. I thought maybe, but like that was I really like that moment. I do hope like, man, but you don't turn your back, Green Goblin. But
no, you don't turn your back on Green Goblin.
Jump him, but.
What y'all should have done was done that whole beat down first. Make sure he's knocked out. And then when Tom was about to kill him, then no, don't do this. But you got to beat him down first.
Right.
You got to make sure he's down.
Yeah, I mean that would have been better. I did like that there was a square off between him, Spider-Man and Green Goblin. I got confused a bunch of times in the fight when they would fight all six. Because
Yeah,
when they had the max on, I was like, okay, which one is this? Which one is this? It's like, and they kept. I said, just keep your max off because y'all keep taking it on, taking it off, taking it on, taking it off, jumping around, teaming up people. I mean, all in all, it was a great fight. And I think some people may critique about the whole curing them as a principle.
yeah,
Like I get that, but even I critique it. I can't say that, but that is the hard Spider-Man. He always tried to save, even if people try to kill him.
yeah. So I'm just going. What's your favorite Tom Holland moment? Like specifically for Tom Holland, what was your favorite moment?
Kind of difficult. I mean, because I'm trying, like, because it'd be like a moment that I would see that highlights his good qualities or whatnot, and are we talking about the host every movie or this movie?
This movie specifically.
Okay. So let me this one. I'm going to try.
For me, I'm actually going to go ahead and say it was when he was with them in the condo, because I think that was a condo, not a hotel or anything.
Yeah.
When he was with the villains and he was legitimately, trying his best to save these people and working with them and reminding you that Peter Parker is a genius. Like you get a reminder that like this kid is brilliant. And then you got a reminder that Green Goblin is brilliant and they work together very well. I love that moment.
Oh yeah, that was a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
There was some good scenes in this. It's like, to me, it's still difficult, like, because my favorite moments with him is kind of the darker moments, to be honestly.
Yeah.
It's not like showing the better qualities of him, but it is showing the range of that his character went through, the hurt that he went through. Some of the best moments is not what he does, when they knew, like, Grant, MJ, and Ned couldn't relate to him on every level, but they didn't know where he would go when he just by alone. And I like how there were just no words, just walk up to him, just hug him. And he ain't even resisting and all that kind of stuff. He ain't reaching out, but he ain't resisting either. So
and that's how you know that they're close. That's how you
Yeah.
know that they've built basically their own little family. Because sometimes you don't need words.
No.
You don't always need words. Some apologies are worthless. Like if someone has lost someone that they love, I'm just gonna point it out there. Do not apologize to them. They know it's not your fault. They know you did nothing wrong. Sometimes it just takes that moment to show them that you love them. Hug them. Hold them close. Don't say anything. There's no words to express that can conquer that kind of emotional battle. As someone who lost her mom a couple years back, like, in all honesty, like there's sometimes where words do not matter. So if more people would pull the Ned and MJ moment and just let that person just be emotional, I feel like that's more important than apologizing for something you had nothing to do with.
And I think they did that's the second time where we agreed that there was no words spoken and it was great.
Yeah.
I
It was a
think
great scene.
And I think that's something I think this movie did well. When it was grief, no words needed spoken. When I'm trying to kill Green Goblin and you're stopping me, we're talking, but we're not talking.
Right.
It's like no
We talk
words.
with the eyes.
Exactly. And I thought, underhandedly, that is one of the good things about that this movie did very well. And okay, we'll wrap it up a little bit, but funny moment. It was Jamie Foxx low key try to shout out Miles Morales.
Yes. Where he was like, man, I thought you was black. I was like, oh, oh.
So there's a black Spider-Man somewhere out there. like
I'm sorry, I'm not black. I didn't mean to.
it's okay. That was a good moment, a little shout moment, something they can think about doing down the line. They can do it anytime they want, really. Right now you have made the fans so happy that I think you could just write a blank check. You're in the good graces of every Spider-Man fan.
Yes,
you're set up pretty high.
You could literally make a new Tobey Maguire Spider-Man show, and we will watch it, even if it's awful.
Exactly. And low key, do you think they're going to do something with Ned?
Everyone kept saying Hobgoblin, and I actually did not see the Hobgoblin. Like everyone kept saying that, I'm just like, I don't see it, but I think Ned has potential. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying that Hobgoblin Ned, and I mean in comics, yes, Ned's character actually does become Well, okay, he's not Hobgoblin. It's a long story, but he thinks he's Hobgoblin. Let's put it that way.
I thought that was just a funny moment. That moment, like, hey, I would never do that to you. And
I think
he's talking about Harry Osborn trying to kill him, and Ned took it as because he just said, my best friend tried to kill me. He died in my arms. So I just thought it was a funny moment that Ned thought that he was talking about a version of himself. I said, no, he's talking about Harry Osborn.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like, so I heard that. I said that was left field. I didn't think of that at all.
Me either. But it's going to be a magic.
Strange kind of thing. Him, I said, like, how long did it take Dr. Strange to use that ring?
A long time. Because he figured it out.
So, like, it wasn't me. The fact that you did it so casually, like, you weren't the bet, but you still did. And I thought, like, I don't think anybody could become a
no.
So I'm saying, like, and even Dr. Strange kind of pointed, like, use a ring. Yeah.
You have to have magic potential. So, like, he's one of the few characters in the MCU that has shown that he has magic potential. So I definitely think that he's going to be something. Is it Hobgoblin? I don't think so.
I don't think Hobgoblin. I don't think it, since Doctor Strange is about to be more prominent, and magic basically is about to be more prominent in the MCU with Scarlet Witch, and we're getting into that now. Loki, where you kind of can see Phase 4 is moving more and more into mystical, and so
multiverse.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking that Ned would just be a low key, maybe assistant to one, something like that. Like
I think he's going to be evil. I think he's going to. Yeah. I think he is going to jump down that rabbit hole, especially with the fact that he doesn't remember Peter anymore. I feel like he could potentially jump down that rabbit hole because Peter wasn't there basically in his life now. That's what my issue was with his spell at the end. Yeah. Forget Peter Parker. He should have just said, "Forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man." That was fine.
Because I think that the forget Peter Parker Spider-Man was the original spell,
right? And
he can't do nothing to the original spell. The only way to cancel that spell out is for forget Peter Parker.
Gotcha.
Cancel out the original, because the original spell was fine if you would just let that work. You would have to deal with family, a few people not forgetting, but it changed so much. The spell's already out there. You can't contain it. You only can make another spell to counter that spell, and that spell
had to be
basically almost pull an instant one for life. And just like hey, Christmas time, and basically not necessarily you were never born, but people don't remember who you are in no kind of way. So it took me a while. Like, that means like legit nobody knows Peter Parker at all.
Yeah, because you saw him getting his GED tests and stuff like that. Because he didn't.
Yeah, you got to school. I said that made it work, and I would say later on, I think my friend told me. My friend waits after the film to say he actually did see it before me, but it's just that he saw opening day. He said don't see opening day because there were so many people yelling and screaming and all that kind of stuff that he missed a good chunk of it. But he said that this could be a way of Tom Holland stepping off, because I heard that he wants to take some time off.
But he's also signed up for a few more movies. But I do know he said
Right.
he really wants to take time off and become a father and that kind of stuff. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I wish him the best on that, for real, for real. That doesn't mean we lose Spider-Man.
Well, no, I think they won't. That's that they like them ending the way they do, because you know it ends with not just him like basically starting off fresh. He creates a different Spider-Man suit, which is almost went OG Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, that's OG.
That's I said
OG.
That's OG Spider-Man. Said he never wore that. That's like
Yeah.
old Spider. So the idea is we might see Spider-Man in different movies coming, or it may not necessarily be Tom Holland in that. So the guy probably never gonna take off his mask and all that kind of thing. So hey, Spider-Man, you know, it'll be like if you read a comic book, and Spider-Man guest stars, and if the hero doesn't know that that's Peter Parker, you're never gonna see him. So it might be like that.
Yeah.
Where like you're never gonna see him unmask himself. So you're gonna say it's and since nobody remembers that Tom Holland, so that Peter Parker Spider-Man, they wouldn't. Okay, I don't know who he is. He's just a guy that helps, and you know. So all in all, the film was great.
Like what about that after scene credit? I'm sorry, that mid scene that was weird. I don't like. I guess because I haven't seen Carnage, but
yeah, okay, that
didn't make sense to me. Like maybe I have to see Carnage for it to make sense, but it does not make sense.
It's the after scene. Now, granted, that was nothing like I don't know. Was that a shot at Sony? Was that like a
no?
No. I know
it was their way of bringing Venom into the Marvel MCU.
In the most.
But how in the world does Venom know who Spider-Man is?
Okay, I talked with my friend after the movie. Okay, because we actually saw. He's in from Chicago, so we saw Venom and Carnage like a couple weeks ago, and the end credit of that was he said, Eddie Brock, whatever he said he's chilling on the beach, so we're just gonna just get away from all our problems, basically, and it showed from his perspective, him being shipped to that universe. It was like a big lie, like what, and then like he's in the same spot. But like the TV different, and then he sees Peter Parker. His identity got revealed. Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and you hear Venom saying, "That guy." The only way I can make that make sense is because I'm thinking, but he doesn't know Peter Parker. He doesn't have Spider-Man in the universe.
He doesn't. Yeah.
The only way that I would canon that and bend everything in my body, because okay, you recall when they were talking. Now, obviously, Venom did exist in Tobey Maguire's universe. And he talked, man, I fought an alien at the Bell Tower. So we know you were talking about the symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
So this still is stretching it. The symbiote knows who Spider-Man is. Venom is a version of the symbiote that Spider-Man had. So, like, you may have a shared knowledge persona. Because we know that the symbiote, at least in comic world and like on the show, the symbiote is a lot older and has a lot more knowledge than any human being has.
Okay.
Like that kind of stuff. So like, almost like, because it's almost like Venom looked at the end of Carnage, he looked at Peter Parker, and so he said, "That guy, like," it's like Venom was like saying, "I know him, but I don't," like that kind of thing. So like maybe you were pulled in because the symbiote was dead. Which they could have just brought the symbiote, but whatever. So the symbiote was sentient, alive, and a version of Venom know who Spider-Man was, and therefore you got pulled into that. Because I think right before that, I don't know if this had anything to deal with it, but Eddie Brock and Venom are talking, and it's like something to where Venom said, like, "I know all this in the universe. If I were to show you, your head would explode." Well, what's that supposed to mean? He might actually say something about the multiverse.
Could be.
He said like no, fine, I'll show you a little bit. And then when he did that, and then he got transported to this time frame, and now because I was thinking, where's Eddie Brock going to be at? And hey, I'm gonna do it. So all that was just real cool. I almost wish that Eddie Brock was in there, but
Yeah.
whatever. They got the symbiote in there.
Yeah, they got the symbiote in there. So we got, we'll have Venom
Have Venom
in the
actual
future.
Venom, I guess. How they gonna do that? I don't know, because technically that Venom should be talking like Carnage would. Whatever. That's somebody down the line who's gonna make that work. All right. We're gonna wrap this up, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my guest.
Hi.
I would say follow her, but she don't do nothing.
I don't do that yet. We'll see in the future.
We may bring it back, but that's gonna do it for today. I thank you for watching our review. You have a blessed one and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Is it too good to be true? I want this so much, but don't know if I can trust you. My mind's racing fast, trying to find the red flags I'm used to. All these green lights, are they coming too soon? Caught between red and the green.